Cast your votes right now for the 8th Annual Baltimore Music Awards.
The Baltimore Music Awards is something that's thrown every year to acknowledge you, yes you, out there for your talents and your efforts and your achievements that you do.
You decide the winners in this 2018 competition.
Every year when it comes to music, entertainment, radio personality, model, or from any of that perspective, you know, we're here to celebrate you. And you know, it's funny because when this first started 8 years ago, you know, a lot of people thought that it couldn't happen.
The 8th Annual Baltimore Music Awards.
We need to acknowledge our people out there, you know, but in our own community, it was something needed.
Watch the results show Sunday, December the 16th at 12 noon via radioonfire.com or baltimoremusicawards.com. This is radioonfire.com. Yours truly, Diamond K, in here alongside my father. How you doing, Dad?
Good, man. Good. Feel good.
Yeah, you feel good?
Cold outside.
It's cold out. It's cold outside. So cold outside, I need my sunglasses. Right there. Does it feel like Christmas time to you?
Feels like cold, but not really. I don't have that spirit hit me yet.
Yeah.
I don't feel it yet.
Were you big on Christmas as a child?
As a child, I was.
Yeah.
And as I became an adult, I wasn't, but I had to be for my children.
Right.
Your mother used to make me go out and get that tree.
Yeah.
And yeah, but yeah.
Wasn't too bad.
No. I was for my family.
Yeah. So it just doesn't feel like maybe because the weather is kind of weird, but it just doesn't feel. You know, I mean, I don't see the lights up as much. Maybe it's me.
I went by your little sister's house and they're ready. Outside. Can you give me this phone? Inside.
Yeah.
Inside and outside.
Shanae?
Christmas, yes. Christmas won't be Christmas.
Okay, good.
You love.
Do that, yeah.
Yeah, she's ready.
I need this phone, please. Okay, so we got a holiday time, and thank you. Right here. No, right here. Literally. Just pass it to me, please. Just take it off the base and pass it to me. Thank you. Mm-hmm. Wonderful. I appreciate that. So I want to start right where we are, right what's happening right at this moment. Mm-hmm. If you go in the other room and you look on the TV, on the idiot box, or if you go on the internet, and certain outlets are showing the lying in state of George Bush 41, H.W. Bush, right?
That's right.
And I feel like they are now. I know people say that you're not supposed to speak ill of the deceased. That's what they say. He also said Santa Claus comes down to trim you. You know what I mean? So I don't think you should go out of your way to be, But if you're having an honest conversation, if we talk about George Washington, he passed. You know what I mean? We gotta have an honest conversation about him, right? Mm-hmm. The white boy had slaves, right?
Right.
And he did tell lies. You know what I mean?
Yeah, You don't think he chopped down the cherry tree?
And he chopped that. No, a slave chopped down the cherry tree. You know what I'm saying? And so that's not. Am I disrespecting?
No. You know what?
No.
It took me a long time to realize because at my age, I've been to a lot of funerals, and so I wondered. I said, well, I would listen to what they were saying about an individual. I said, but what about when he did this?
Yeah.
They never talked about it. And then I realized as I got older, they don't want to talk about any negative things that a person may have done. They're not there to talk real. They just want to make everything glowing. I guess they say the worst thing in a way he did. You know, so yeah, they very rarely. And if somebody says something truthful about a person, yeah, he cool, man, but he still owed me $3,500. You know, people, they start throwing things at him. You know what I mean? They don't like it.
It's weird.
Yeah,
it's weird, and it's just people are trying to rewrite history. Mm-hmm. Okay, George Bush. See, everybody's cool in the older years. You wind down. Right, so they're remembering him how he was, you know, when he was, you know, jumped a skydive and whatever, 85 it was, whatever, 84. Okay, that was fine and nice, but let's keep in mind the fact that while he was in charge of the CIA, all of the cruddy stuff he did during the Reagan administration, all of the cruddy stuff he did, you know, from his CIA ties. Mm-hmm. Do we need to talk about Prescott Bush, his father? Do we need to talk about no?
Well, yeah. Well, you know, they won't even talk about the fact. Yeah, I don't know if you remember the Willie Horton ads. Remember Willie?
Yes.
When he ran, and
I remember reading about it. You know, yeah.
That was horrible when they said that, and that's why Dukakis lost miserably because they put that ad out that Dukakis wants to free prisoners.
Yeah,
he freed Willie Horton, and look what Willie Horton did.
Yeah, they mentioned that, but they glossed over it. Mm-hmm. So I've heard them mention that. So how they say it now is that Michael Dukakis can say that firsthand that Bush really ran a tough campaign. That's called glossing over it. So I'll make sure people understand if we're speaking over anybody's head. During the race when Bush had his one term, mm-hmm. he ran against Michael Dukakis,
right, governor of Massachusetts at the time.
Right. Mm-hmm. And so I was young at the time, so I don't really know whether who was favored to win.
Mm-hmm. Well, Dukakis was a close race at that particular time.
Yeah.
And, that Willie Horton ad really knocked it out the ballpark. And Dukakis supports rapists. Look, Willie Horton, you know, and
Did you think that was too much?
Oh yeah, it was just as racist as Trump is when he talks about Charlottesville, you know.
Yeah.
It was blatant.
Yeah.
You know, or when Trump talks about the illegal aliens. I hate to say aliens.
Yeah, it's a terrible word.
Sounds like somebody from outer space, aliens. But yeah, same thing. Nothing's changed.
Right. And so it bothers me when they try to present him as such a nice guy. I'm sure he was nice to some people. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. I'm sure he was nice to some people. And you know, in his final years, of course, he was non-threatening in a wheelchair and all that stuff. But all of his hand in getting his son in office, you don't think that he had any hand in that?
Yeah, well, I mean, he should. I mean, as a son, if you were running for president, I'd be working to get my.
Of course.
So you know,
how far would you go? Pretty far.
Yeah. But now, what they really mean about him is that his demeanor was mild, and you know, as you said, he could have been doing anything under the table, behind the door. But his demeanor was, as you talked about before, very mild.
Yeah.
Compared to what we have today.
And that's what I think people get caught up in.
Yeah. I think, but you know what? It works to be a good thing for them to see what a president should be.
He should be conniving and quiet.
Yeah. And be able to articulate and speak well. Yeah. And it wasn't just Obama. You know, they can look back and say, well, there were other presidents too that acted like a president. This guy acts like a fool. indescribable what he acts like. I can't even
You
describe
have the
it.
words for it. You know, I remember when the Iraq War started, and I was thinking, this president is going to get some of my friends killed.
Right.
That's what I was thinking.
Yeah, and you had friends over there.
Oh yeah, I had friends over there. You know, so I don't hold the fond memories of him as much as I'm seeing on TV. I feel like they're rewriting it.
Well,
I don't hate the man.
Yeah, well,
I just
didn't
pity
vote
the
for
fool.
him. I didn't vote for.
That's Mr. T.
He was a Republican. I didn't vote for.
Yeah. So you voted for Dukakis.
I voted for Dukakis and then voted for Clinton.
Yeah.
And I was glad that he lost.
Yeah. I think that things worked out better with him only having one term than if Clinton had gotten in at that moment.
And then when he was running, he ran against Reagan. His
they weren't exactly cool.
No, they were running against each other. And his thing was talking to Reagan is having voodoo economics. Show me the beef. Because Reagan could talk, but they said, well, show me the meat, show me the beef. Voodoo economics. And but Reagan was smart to bring. He was the second in voters, and so Reagan selected him.
That's what I said Hillary should have did with Bernie Sanders.
Right.
Yes, and this is how you unite everybody.
Right.
This is how you put our petty stuff aside, and then when I have my 2 years, we want to help you get your 2 years. That's how you make deals.
Right.
That's how you make deals. So I give Reagan credit for that. However, when he passed, they did the same thing to him. They rewrote. Reaganomics messed up the inner city more than most things. You know.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. One thing I can remember about Reagan is that he cut funds for people who really needed to be hospitalized, mental problems. They started releasing everybody from who had psychological problems, and that's the homeless started to proliferate under him because they let them out on the streets, and they were out. And
yeah, that's bad times, bad times. But so of course he is lying in state, as they call. State government agencies will be closed tomorrow, a national day of mourning for George Bush. So ultimately, the legacy of George Bush. Do you think that he was a successful president? His 4 years.
He came in on the coattails of Reagan, and he was there when the wall fell, and
he gets that credit. Yeah.
And Russia collapsed without bloodshed. And that's what they like to hearken on as his greatest accomplishments. Although taxes increased.
No. Read my lips. No new taxes. But he did it anyway.
And that blew him.
He should have said, psych. Right. That's why he lost. He shouldn't even said it. Right. He shouldn't even have said it. And he maybe could have won, but you can always say, hey, his stuff he's saying, we don't know if he's going to do that. Remember what we said about taxes?
Well, you know why he said that? Because at that time, a lot of the Democrats were trying to be realist and telling the people, now listen, things are getting tough. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to get in, but your taxes are going to go up some, but we're going to work it out.
Yeah.
And then that's why
that's being real.
Right. And that's why he would come, read my lips. I'm not going to raise taxes. No more tax increase. And so he was kind of trying to counteract him. And then after he got in there, he said, oops.
But what's so crazy about that is it's not like he was on the campaign trail and had not been on the inside. And then you get the information once you get on the inside, say, oh man, I can't do this. He had already spent years on the inside.
Yeah, but that's what people think, that he is getting immersed into the the details, but they're not.
The vice president.
Right. He wasn't. He obviously, because that was a foolish statement.
So as far as all-time presidents, does he rank is he in the top 5 all time? Top 10? Top 20?
He's down. Well,
or is he the bottom?
I tell you, he's probably among the top 5 or top one-term presidents.
Okay, I can give him that.
I don't even know how many we've had.
We've had a few. We've had a few. Jimmy Carter was one that comes to mind.
Oh yeah, Jimmy Carter. Yeah, Jimmy Carter. Okay, yeah.
Lyndon Johnson.
Lyndon Johnson, was he at one time?
I will not seek nor will I accept your nomination for president.
Yeah.
I call that one term.
Yeah, well, he finished up Kennedy's and then he ran. Okay.
So you don't count. When he finished up Kennedy's, I don't count that as you don't because he could have run again.
Yeah,
and he would have had his own 2 terms.
Yeah.
So that's one.
Well,
term.
I can't put him ahead of
Harry Truman.
Harry Truman. One term?
That was a one term. I thought it was one term.
Oh, okay. Yeah, because yes, right. Roosevelt died in office and Truman came in.
Same thing.
Truman ran one time. And they thought Dewey had won. Yeah, okay. Well, I think you're right. It has been quite a few, and my lifetime. Okay.
You liked him?
He drops down. I mean, Truman comes before him. And,
no doubt.
And
what about Jimmy Carter?
Jimmy Carter.
So you were an adult at that time.
Yeah.
So they kind of dump on him.
Yeah. Jimmy Carter was a good man, and he had some raw deals. Especially his biggest downfall was the Iranian crisis.
I think that did it for him.
Yeah. And then gas lines were. I mean, he was a good man. Whether he was a great, I don't. I might put Bush ahead of him as far as
Carter
putting Bush ahead of Carter as far as effectiveness.
Yeah.
But effectiveness. But
what about Ford?
Oh, Ford was 0.
Oh my God. Did you say a 0?
And he's from Michigan. He was from Michigan. Yeah.
Is that why you're being so hard on him?
No. He was never elected.
Right.
At least the other guys we talked about, they finished terms and then ran on their own and got elected. But this guy here, he lost. He lost to
Carter.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
So you say you got to be pretty bad to lose to a peanut farmer.
Yeah. They didn't think Jimmy Carter stood a chance.
I mean, on paper, how could you think he would?
Nobody even heard of him.
Yeah.
The governor of Georgia. I mean, if Abrams wasn't running, who would you know who the governor of Georgia was?
No.
Nobody knows.
No, I tell you what's crazy about that. Mm-hmm. When I was living there several years, I didn't even know who that's bad.
No, it's not. That's not bad. What's bad is that I was an adult and I don't know. Okay, so I have no idea who the governor was. I knew who the mayor was. That's why.
Right. Well, we do the mayor because
Jackson was
because we cared about the mayor. We didn't really care about that. But ultimately, the president, of course, deserves respect.
Yeah.
And
let me say this for a second. I heard him talking about whether Trump should go to the funeral of George Bush, and some of the reporters were saying, Don Lemon was saying that he shouldn't go. You shouldn't have invited him to come, and some of the people were saying, but he's the president. You can't.
Can't exclude him.
You can't diminish the presidency. And
what?
But I mean, I understand what you're saying, and I agree with it. This is the same. This is that slippery slope we talked about all year. You know, when they go low, we go high. And you have to maintain the integrity of the position, because he ain't going to be there long. Okay, and so this is the presidency of the United States of America, and so we got to keep it with respect. And,
all right, so let me present an opposite point. If you invite him, and I'm sure he's going to be there, but if you invite him, don't you condone indirectly his behavior by giving him those same benefits when clearly his behavior, I hate to talk about him like he's a child, but his behavior does not warrant it? It's like, Christians celebrating Christmas. It's like, okay, it is holiday time. His sisters did get stuff, so we got to get the boys stuff for Christmas just because it's the holidays. It is the holidays. We do celebrate Christmas, and his sisters are getting stuff too.
Right. Well, that's what Don Lemon was saying. He said the way he talked about your father and your mother and your brother.
I forgot about that.
He talked about them like dogs. You're gonna invite him? The father said that he wanted him to come.
But the wife didn't.
No, the wife didn't, and
that's the wishes. So if he wanted that, so being a bigger person.
Yeah.
What would you have done?
I'm on the,
So I guess you're saying you would have invited him.
I would have, because you got to go high, because we've got to restore the credibility of the presidency after he gets out of here, and he's diminished it. So, that's another smackdown. You know what I mean? It's like, you can't come. It's let him diminish it. Let us not.
And I guess you can point to it as to the things that he's done.
Oh, I mean, listen, that G20 when Putin and the Prince are giving each other high fives. It's a direct smack in the face of this guy's like, chump. They're talking about this guy.
Did you see the picture? Did you see the picture that they captured of the two of them shaking hands, and Trump is kind of in the background looking envious at the
No,
I gotta show you that.
I didn't see that.
Hilarious.
That I gotta see.
Yeah, it is hilarious. I'm talking about it was well worth the price of admission just to see.
And see, that's what I'm saying. That. He's diminished the position. We can't diminish it. He's diminished it. We got to build it back up.
Yeah.
And if it's pathetic.
Let's since we're here, let's skip this next story and let's go right to the third one since we're here. He seems rattled to me.
Yeah.
President Trump seems rattled. I think that there's more to come, as they say, more shoes to drop in the Mueller investigation. A series of court filings in the next few weeks may shed some light on what Mueller has learned from people that have been cooperating. Mm-hmm. So I think, and we've said this before, we said this a bunch of times, I think that it's finally upon us. I think we're getting to the part that if this doesn't do it,
we done said that. Been there, done that. I'm not gonna say that no more.
You're not gonna say that no more?
No, I'm from Missouri. Where is it? I'm a show. What's the show me state?
Missouri,
I gotta see it because this man here, this man is slippery out or what? Remember he's talking about I was a businessman at the same time and I was running. I still got to maintain my business. You know what I mean? I might have lost.
You got to give him credit. He is slick. He is slick. He's the real tricky dick.
Yes.
Because Nixon wasn't slick.
No.
Okay, because Nixon got caught.
Yeah.
Okay. So I think that when we find out exactly what former National Security Advisor Michael Flynn had to say, he was on the inside, and they got him out of there early. When they give a detailed memo about what he was talking about, I think that that's going to give us some more insight because they ain't been talking about him a lot.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, well, like for the last year they haven't talked about him.
Yeah.
And so they're supposed to be by 12 o'clock tonight, right? I think, supposed to bring.
I can't wait.
I just hope people don't be disappointed.
Well, I was disappointed last year when me being the history buff that I am, I've been waiting. Okay, this is going to sound a little, as they say, nerdy. I was waiting for years for the unsealing of the Kennedy files. So I remember in 1989 when I actually found out when the files were going to be unsealed. I was excited. I was like, I can't wait. I'm gonna be a grown man then, and I just can't wait. And Trump released files last year, but all the good ones they didn't release. They kept all the interesting stuff, all the good stuff, and we never get to know. So it's possible that some of this stuff we may never know, the good stuff. And by the time we find, we're going to be so into other stuff that's not even going to be an issue. Right. You know, it's like them unsealing something from Warren G. Harding's administration now.
Right.
We're like, okay, who cares?
We survived it.
Right.
But you know, one thing that has surprised me with this whole controversy with this president is Obama had said something years ago that he said that this democracy, that we should not take it for granted because it's not as strong as you think. It can fall. It can break. And people will say, how can anybody attack this country? How can we? And you can see how fragile it really is. It really is. And that surprised me and scared me and was a wake-up call. That So you took that serious that when he said that? Well, at the time I didn't. No, I didn't take it seriously. We said, okay. But with this man in office, I see how fragile it is, and how if you had mentioned before all the time, if he was really smart, he could have accomplished what he wanted. Oh, absolutely. He could have took over the country. He ain't gonna do it now. Not only the country, he literally could have took over the world. He could have. But and with a little bit of Bush's demeanor, none of the only positive tweets, he could have lulled the world to sleep, and then could have done all the stuff he wanted to do. But you know what my grandfather always told me? He said, "God don't give you everything." So the man had Trump had a lot of stuff going for him, but but you ain't gonna have it all. Right. And he didn't have it all, but he has demonstrated and opened up the door and opened up the eyes of some people to see how it can be done. Oh, definitely can be done. It can be done. And this democracy is very fragile. Get the wrong person in there. You know what I mean? Very fragile. Because we are loyal to the presidency, which they try to be. They're going to be probably each I guess upcoming years they may get less loyal, but they're very loyal now, and I think they're gonna get less loyal. I think they're gonna get less loyal. Yeah, so they because this guy here, as we've been saying, he's got to get out of this office. I thought he got to get out by 2018, but it's almost here. So he got 3 more weeks. He got 3 more weeks. Random trivia. John Adams and John Quincy Adams, both one-term presidents. John Adams and John Quincy Adams, father and son. Yep. One term. Let's call them one. Father and one. One. Okay. Tough crowd. All right, so but Paul Manafort, is he going down? As far as this, is he just going to stay in jail the end, or is Trump going to pardon him? Hopefully, Trump doesn't have any power left to pardon anybody by that time. He would like to. Yeah. He has every plan and intention to do so. That's why him and they've been
Giuliani.
Yeah, and they thought that they was doing a, flipperoo, being real slick.
But they wasn't.
Yeah, having.
They pulled their hands.
Yeah.
And Giuliani says, "Oh yeah, he's been talking to." There's got to be. I mean, they admit to so many crimes, and then try to say, "Well, if it was a real crime, he wouldn't have admitted to it. He would have done it in public." That still doesn't mean that it's not a crime. You know what I mean?
Right.
It's like I pulled out a gun, I robbed this place, but I don't have a mask on, so that means, of course, if I was trying to rob the place, I would have covered my face. You know what I mean? No, you robbed this place. You're just dumb.
Yeah, right. Exactly. That's the
dumb.
Point. That's the point. You said it because you're stupid.
Yeah.
Right. Exactly.
Yeah.
So it's hard to say about what's going to happen there because.
So if Eric Trump or Don Jr. go down, you think that Trump, the father, would stay there? Or like he wouldn't. Is there anything that could happen to make him step down?
I think so. I think just like I think the same, and that's what I want to happen. The same thing with Nixon. You present on paper everything right in front of him, and his lawyers have to tell him there's no way out.
Right.
You know what I mean? All sides are covered.
Right.
It's only the back door, and your vice president can pardon you when you leave. But it's best to go ahead and leave. And they can't say to him, we don't want to tear up the country.
You don't care about that.
You know what I mean? Nixon cared. You know what I mean? So they have to present a situation to him that there's no way out, and they're gonna try to they're gonna try to get it loose and throw it up on the White House and try to hang you. You got to go, and that's the only way, if they can show him that everything is covered.
You said this off air. When Trump's time comes, right? Mm-hmm. Whenever that is, are they going to try to speak about him in a positive light?
Yeah. So
they're going to act like all this crap, all of the dozens of women that have accused him of things, and all the crap that he's done,
providing that the union stays intact. As long as we can get on the other side of him, they'll say that he was one of the most tenacious, aggressive.
What a spin!
Presidents in American history. He tried to change the world. I mean, so they're gonna talk like from that standpoint. There may have been a lot of negative things people have said about him, but his tenacity, his strength, his ability to fight and never give up. Those kinds of things they're gonna be saying about him.
Fight till you never give up was also another way of saying doesn't know when to quit.
Don't know what time it is.
Yeah, don't know when it's over.
Right.
Right. And I think that's a great segue to what I want to talk about. Sad story out of Baltimore.
Yeah.
A woman over the weekend. Now this story seems so strange to me. One way I was thinking was the woman set up by the driver of the car. Like, I'm trying to figure out, the scenario is so bizarre to me.
Well, let me tell you this, that when I heard it, that is what came to my mind. Initially. And I thought she was a white woman.
Yeah, because no black woman in her right mind would do the thing that she did.
Well, based on what you were saying earlier, that the husband, set this up. Insurance scam. Because it's so crazy. It's just so crazy. Then when I saw she was black, I said, wait a minute. I was thrown back. I said, oh my goodness. I couldn't believe that.
Yeah. It's just a sad story. So people that don't know, Baltimore police are saying that a woman is dead over the weekend after she stopped to help a person she thought was in need. The victim, Jacqueline Smith, 52 years old, was stabbed in the 1000 block of Valley Street around 12:30 a.m.
I don't even know where Valley
and
Street
died in the hospital. So this is East Baltimore, and not where she should have been. You know what I mean? But police say that she was riding a car when she saw a woman with a cardboard sign that read, "Please help me feed my baby." And we often see here in Baltimore, and I'm sure in inner cities around the country, people with these signs. I've seen people with signs that say, "Please help me feed my baby."
Right.
I've seen all of that. You've seen witty signs. I'm not going to lie, I just want to buy a beer. Or I saw one yesterday that said, "I'm too ugly to be a prostitute."
See, never.
Yeah, I just saw one right on North Avenue said that.
And that Williams guy a few years ago said, "I'll sing for no."
Yeah.
No, he didn't sing. He had that voice. He had
The
that
golden voice.
Yeah.
Right. I think all this money's gone too.
Hey, I'm homeless, but I can still talk to you about the life.
So then once I've looked into the story more, I'm concluding that this was a setup by the man and the woman. So it's
you mean the attackers?
Yes.
Right.
So it was something
They're trying to rob 'em.
that's often done. Women, being the bait for the setup. This happens to guys out in clubs where they take the woman home or take the woman to some hotel, and then guys run up in the hotel. The woman leaves the door unlocked. That's that type of coming from that mindset. So the woman rolls down the window. And this is where it gets fuzzy to me. So it had to happen fast. But here's why I'm still not fully sold. Because this account is coming from the driver. Everything that's said, everything that we're taking into account comes from the driver. How credible is he? You know what I mean? Because let's say that he was trying to get rid of this woman. These are the things he would say. And we can't corroborate this. We got to take his word for it. How many times have we seen people get on TV and cry and whine for their spouse who's missing, and they were the ones who did it? Plenty of times. So I'm still not sold.
And and you listen. Of course, I don't want to believe that that's the case.
Yeah, I hope it isn't.
I mean,
we got to be practical.
That's a perfect crime. I mean, that's a good one.
Well, I mean, that's right.
I haven't heard.
How many? What are the ones that we seen where they take the people up to the mountains? We're just hiking, and mysteriously, two people go up. One person comes back, and she fell.
That as a white teacher in Columbia was the last year.
Yep.
She was pregnant, and her boyfriend killed her, and he had another girl. He had two girlfriends, and because she was pregnant, the school teacher, he killed her, and he was right on television with the family.
Yep.
Crying.
Sure was.
Crying.
Sure was. It was about Ray Caruth, who just came home.
Yeah.
And I mean, we go on and on, but I'm not, and I'm not saying that he did it. I'm just saying we need to look at all aspects, and we need to get to the bottom of this, because there's plenty of stories. They in the beginning look one way, and in the end look like something else. Right.
So So it's sad. I mean, a 52-year-old woman who had a heart, and it was sympathetic to the lady when she saw her asking to feed her. "I need help to feed my baby." I mean, that tugged at her human, sensibilities, her motherly sensibilities. She was out celebrating with her child and some other people at a VFW that was in that general area, not the best part of town. And what's really bad about it is that not only did this lady lose her life, but she's gonna make it that more difficult for people who really need help. For people that I would help, but I remember what happened to that lady. I'm not taking no chances. Same thing with those squeegee boys.
Same thing, right?
And it's just one person gets supported for everybody.
And what and I also think that maybe they were under the a little tipsy or something, because reflexes should have kicked in. How long does it take for you to pass the girl the money. Not long. But, you know what I mean? Because usually, and we've all done it, you know, you've given money to somebody standing outside, but it's not no long conversation. This is not no, what are you doing out here? As some of my...
But you know what, in her situation, it may have been. Because it was a mother and a child, and she gave her the money and said, hey, girl, you need to be in... Yeah. She better talk to her.
And then the guy runs over. So the whole gimmick was, if somebody does that, we're going to run over and try to snatch something from them.
Trying to snatch her purse. And,
yeah.
So I mean, it's you. So I mean, today you got to be on guard.
You got to be
guard. You got to be looking out.
And they say she wasn't from here.
Oh no.
They say she's from Anne Arundel County, somewhere out in the county.
Oh, okay.
Which makes a lot more sense, because in the city, people that live here, you got to come a little bit better than that to get them with that. Even with the baby outside, I think we are kind of immune to that. Now I've seen people with that scenario. So the guy said that it's what appeared to be a baby. So he's not even convinced that it was a baby. That was just all part of a scam, and that they all ran away.
They may never find them.
They clearly lived in that area, and I'm sure that they may not. They only have a $2,000 reward, and that's not enough to get anybody's attention. I don't think.
It may not it get some people's attention.
It will.
Some of them homeless people, yeah. I mean, $2,000. I'm gonna have to, Henry, we're gonna turn you in, man. 2,000.
He would turn me in for. You ain't gotta pay no rent. We're homeless.
Yeah,
never mind.
But it's just a sad situation.
It's a very sad situation. It's a very sad situation. Very, very, very sad situation. So the interim police commissioner said that this is a heinous act, and they're using this as a ruse as panhandlers to get attentions of their would-be victims. We also want to caution the public about engaging with panhandlers and recognizing the fact that not all of them have honest intent. Not all of them are in need. So...
especially over the holidays, so you got to really be aware.
Oh, definitely, no doubt,
attentive, because people want money, and they do anything to get their cash.
Because you got to keep in mind, and people are on their phones. They're not being alert, and you know you're giving money to somebody, and somebody else is watching you.
Yeah.
And somebody else is watching you. It's called a lookout. Right. They're watching you. They're distracting you. And you have to, I think that people have become desensitized to these things. Yeah. Because and like you said, this time of year especially, you have to be vigilant.
I remember being in Africa, in Nigeria, in Lagos, riding down the street, and they have a lot of, panhandlers and people there. And what they do to get your attention, they just want to get you ride in the car, people throwing, I said they throwing kisses, but I wouldn't look at them, you know what I mean? 'Cause I know they want to get that eye contact,
Weird noise.
Just for you to, just to get you to turn around and look at them, and then they can try to go from there.
Right. I in Vegas, the people in the street, they would do this thing. They would have these flyers, and they would try to get your attention. So they would hit the flyers on their hand, and so they got a bunch of flyers, and it would make a loud noise. This paper's not making a loud enough noise, but if you picture, if you have a whole handful of flyers, and it would do like this, you automatically look, and they try to get you to come to a show or participate or try to get married. You know what I mean?
So are you in the car? Or you
walking down the street, walking down the strip.
Okay.
Walking down the strip. Like, hey, you beautiful. Y'all need to get married. We can get you a free wedding, and all you got to do, you know what I mean? So you don't want to be walking down with the street with any woman. You walk down the street, automatically they're trying to get you to get married, or go on this helicopter ride over the Grand Canyon, or come to this comedy show, stuff like that.
So now I had not been to Vegas. So now I see why
You can end up married in Vegas.
Yeah, Yolanda, a friend of ours, told us. She said when she was there, the lady said, "Are you a trick or
right?
Are you a trick or a treat?"
Yeah.
She said, "A trick or a treat?" You know,
Right.
a treat, I guess. You know, but she was talking about. On the strip, I guess it was prostitution. I guess she was asking.
It absolutely was prostitution.
Was she a prostitute?
Yeah.
Are you the trick or the
But I told you, the other thing is that she was saying you're infringing on my territory.
Right.
If you are a treat, that's your girl, fine. If you are a trick, you know what I mean? You need to, we got problems. Who told you that you could sell that stuff on my block? They may shank her. Yeah. So
are you a trick or a treat?
Trick or a treat. Trick or a treat.
Right.
So definitely thank you as always, Dad.
Yes. Yes. It's my pleasure being with my son on the radio talking about the world events.
Yes. Yeah. Yes.
And this is how we talk at home.
Right. This is how we talk at home.
Yeah.
This is how we talk at home. So we'll be back, of course, next week. And more stuff, more stuff's gonna happen. Yeah. We might. He might be leaving. Who knows? He is gonna be leaving soon.
Yeah.
He is gonna be leaving soon.
Yeah. It'd be incredible if he leaves in 2018.
Oh, if he leaves in 2018, anybody thinking about getting me a gift, just keep it. That's my gift. Trump gone is a good gift. That and a new laptop backpack. All right, we got to get out of here.
Okay,
Thank you.
All right.
Today's broadcast was brought to you by Vistaprint. Create powerful promotions that are easy to design and hard to miss. With Vistaprint, it's easy to customize your business cards, marketing material, corporate gifts, calendars, stationery, and more with confidence, or get real-time design help. Visit radioonfire.com/Vistaprint to get $20 off any order of $40 or more. If you have a message to get out, you want it to be affordable, but you want it to look professional. Visit radioonfire.com/Vistaprint for $20 off today.